one and only Kangol from UTFO. He decided to join us, man. Good to see you, Kangol.
Yo, man, I'm so happy to be here. I miss you, man. How you been, bro?
I've been great, man. Rich Nice is joining us with the A&R room. Rich, we got Kangol here, man. Let's take the show on the road.
This is my guy right here. Yeah,
let's do it, man. Rich and I have been on the phone for a minute, man. We've been staying in touch through a few things, man. As we've been missing some of our hip hop legends, me and Rich are on the phone like, wow.
Ecstasy from Houdini, Prince Marquis D from the Fat Boys.
Yep.
And honestly, man, and I mean this in the most respectful way, you sharing what's happened to you in recent months, it made us think about you and how important you are to us and to our culture as well. And I want to start with that because you did something really brave, Kangol. You talked about something a lot of us don't talk about, but we need to, especially in the Black community. You got diagnosed with colon cancer.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And that was February 3rd, right?
Yes, sir. And February 23rd, got the tumor removed. So it's a month ago now.
A month ago. And so from February, 2 weeks, in a 2 or 3 week span, your whole life had been unraveled, right?
Absolutely.
Let's talk about that, man. How did this all come to be? How did you discover you had colon cancer, and why is it you want to tell this story?
Okay, I want to tell the story, of course, because that's my responsibility. I mean, as an individual for 30 something years that cats have been looking up to, you start to understand that definition of role model. And as a role model, I have to let cats know what it is that I've gone through so that they don't have to go through it. So that's why I'm absolutely sharing the story. In terms of how did I find out about this? It's a simple thing that a lot of us take seriously. Like when you are using the bathroom, you're doing number 2, and you wipe and you see blood, that's a sign. You know what I mean? A lot of us discard that and say, could be him, or it's your check engine light that just came on. And you should at that point go get yourself checked. And so I did not. Being a man, I got this, it'll get better. And it did not get better. What happened as time went on, I started to see it in my stool, see the blood in my stool. Mm-hmm. That graduated to now seeing it actually in the toilet itself. And at that point is where I'm saying, okay, stop playing, bro. Get your insurance together and go see a doctor. That didn't click 100% until one day I'm in my bedroom, privacy in my own room, alone, and I had to pass gas. And so I let it out. It came out with substance. So I thought I sharded, like anybody would think, right? So I run to the bathroom to go check this out and see what the deal is. And it comes at what I've realized I find is a bloody mucus. It's like someone blew their nose and it was all blood in it. And at that point I said, all right, you need to stop playing, Kang. Go see a doctor. And so that led to my colonoscopy. And the day after the colonoscopy, they said, we need you to go take a CT scan. And I didn't know why, but I did as I was told. The day after that, they sat me down and they expressed that it was cancer. Man. And that's how I found out, bro. My life changed right there. Because immediately right there, you're going, nah. Yeah. You start feeling like you're in a dream. Like, nah, she didn't say what I just thought she said. And, we start discussing, she said that it's 10 centimeters from what she saw in the scan and the colonoscopy. And at the time, it wasn't official that it was cancer, but she said she's been doing this for 30 years. She know cancer when she see it. She said, we'll have the confirmed word by Friday. I had to let all this set in, man. I had to absorb this bizarro world that I felt like I was in. I'm like, this ain't real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm the dude who, and as you guys know, I'm the dude who's been advocating for breast cancer, fighting, a fight against breast cancer and awareness out through the movement Mama Luke. And so to now, how ironic is it that I'm on the other side now, and I'm the dude that cats are going to be, I guess, advocating for me, to help me. Or what? Like, it was a crazy turnaround, and all of that was what was settling in. Like, nah, this can't be real. I'm the dude on the other side who's aiding. I'm not the one asking for help or in need of help.
Did it make you sad? Were you scared? Like, what were the emotions?
I had my moments. Yeah, there were a few times. Me and my man Dante, drove from the hospital, and I'm sharing it with him. Dante is a cat that I grew up with, man. He was like 2 houses down from me, my old neighborhood, and we had a moment where we started bawling.
Yeah.
And we had to shake that off. Like, we understood this is what's going on, but there's a reason for this somewhere. Like what I'm doing right now, we even discussed then. Like, got to get this word out, man. Got to let everyone know what's going on. Because you think of Chadwick Boseman, who died from this, and we've seen him at his speaking engagements. He's a very vocal dude, and I know he would have wanted to speak on this if he didn't feel like this would have hurt him moving forward with Disney and and Marvel as a liability.
Yeah.
And he probably wouldn't have done Black Panther if he had shared this. So he had to keep that quiet. I'm not in that position. I can speak on this. And so Dante and I had that conversation on, you're gonna have to be vocal on this, bro, and let everyone know what's going on and prevent others.
I would imagine, man. And I appreciate you sharing this story, because what we're seeing in hip hop, especially with our Black man, is, we lost Prince Marky D, we lost Ecstasy, you could go back to Big Pun. We could,
Sure.
Paul from Full Force was dealing with cancer.
Yes,
at one point.
Yes,
right?
He was. And how crazy is that? Because Full Force, how they treat their bodies as temples.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so to have the healthiest member of Full Force go through this cancer bout, it's like, how is that possible? And I had that same conversation with my doctor, where she looked at my stats. She said, you don't have diabetes. You got great, your blood pressure is great, your protein. She just went through everything. And, you don't smoke, you're not a drinker. She went through everything and said, I'm basically a picture of perfect health. And I said, then why am I here? And she said, bad luck.
Bad luck. It gotta be bad luck.
Yo, it just happens. If you don't get yourself checked, if you don't do what you're supposed to do or whatever, at some point, it's just luck. It's just luck of the draw, because you wouldn't think that Paul Anthony of Full Force would be the one. So that was his luck that he turned out to be that dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of, that check engine light I'm talking about, bro. If you don't see the signs, if you don't recognize the sign or do what you need to do upon, seeing those signs, your luck's gonna run out.
It's gonna run out. You found out, you knew you were having symptoms of something. You didn't know what it was until February 3rd. But how long before that did you knew something wasn't right?
And I would say, the blood thing is something that happens on and off, for, I don't know, a year or two. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah, because, it's not something that stays constant. You know what I mean? So you'll see it and you'll go, oh, wow, hold on, what was that? And then after a while, I guess it stops a day or two, whatever, and you're good. And you're thinking, might have been some spicy food. I probably strained too much. You're coming up with all these other explanations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're doing that because it's not that constant. It's not that repetitive. It's not, you're not in any ailment. You're not sick due to this. So you're like, nah, it was just some, let me not go bother the doctor about this spicy burrito that I had. You try to, you try to analyze it that way and make it make sense that way. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was a minute. But when it started to get, too blunt, you know what I mean? It was too in my face for me not to. And again, that last episode, when that bloody mucus came out, bro.
here's the message, man. Like I personally, I'm not a doctor. I don't think it's just bad luck when you see statistics that say 20% black men are 20% more likely to get diagnosed with colon cancer and 40% more likely to die because of it. I don't know if that's bad luck, but I'm not a doctor. But a lot of us are scared of taking colonoscopies and you know, just what it stands for. Just having.
Let me say this.
Okay.
I don't know why, because mine, I was asleep.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Now there's the prostate test that you take where you have to bend over and, you know, the doctor does what he does. And I can understand the cats who have that mentality and they don't want to be violated or whatever. But the colonoscopy, bro, I was knocked out. You know what I mean? I woke up and it was done. So whatever fear it is that one has in terms of that, if it's, you know, somehow correlated somehow, it's not. It's two different type of tests.
Talk to folks out there right now, because a lot of us, you know, they say black men should get tested by 45, not 50. A lot of us don't.
That age should be lowered, and I believe it is being lowered now because Chadwick Boseman died at 43.
Yeah.
So come on. With that said, why are you waiting to 40 something? I mean, what was said to me is I'm supposed to do it at 50. I'm 54, so I was already 4 years late, you know, in making this happen. You know what I mean? But I'm not waiting, or I'm not going to tell anyone to wait to 50. Yeah. I'm telling you to go in at 40, 35, bro. You know what I mean? Go get that check now.
When Chadwick passed away, when you found out that he had colon cancer, what went through your head? What went through your mind?
I just, you know, I was saddened for Duke. Yeah. That was it, you know, because at that time, this was what, I think a year or so ago, a year, I'm not sure exactly, a little over a year ago. I wasn't diagnosed. I didn't see that as something that was close to me. And in terms of hereditary, no one in my family has colon cancer ever before me. My children, my three sons now have to say it's hereditary because before me it was not. You know what I mean? So again, all of that is crazy. When you say luck of the draw or bad luck and so on, this isn't a hereditary thing. That's something that my family and, you know, those before me have dealt with. So it is a situation where you have to address it as in luck, good or bad. It was good luck for how long? Because no one in my family ever had to deal with this. My children, it was good luck for them because they didn't have it in their family. Now they do. That luck has changed.
That luck has changed. What message would you like to give to the people that's watching this right now?
Go get yourselves checked, period. It affects everyone. All race go through this. To my black men, yes, please go get yourselves checked. Enough with that macho stuff that you're on. You know, if you're not going to do it for you, do it for that person who loves you. There is someone who doesn't want you to leave this planet. Do it for them. You know what I mean? Because immediately when the doctor said it to me, first person I thought of is my little girl. She's 5 years old. You know what I mean? My sons are grown men. You know, my oldest is 34, you know what I mean? 32, 28. It's like, those are grown men, all right? My 5-year-old, I was like, nah, this can't be what's going down. You know, I gotta be here for her. I gotta walk her down the aisle. We got daddy-daughter dances coming up, Sweet 16. These are all things that I've never had to do with my sons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, nah, I gotta be here. So my advice to everyone out, to do it for you, do it for your loved ones, please.
Get that colonoscopy.
Please, man. You don't have to die from this, bro. That's what's crazy about this. You know what I mean? Clearly it was caught early on my end. Tomorrow I have to meet with the doctors and we'll discuss the need or if there's any need for any post-treatment. And so we're gonna have that discussion then. But I'm here.
Yes, you're here.
You know what I mean? I'm here, bro.
You're looking great too, brother. You're looking great, and that's why we wanted to talk about it. What's changed now that you got the cancer removed? You beat cancer, but what's changed now? What's changed about your everyday living?
I appreciate my fans more today than I did, you know, a month or two ago. I've always loved my fans in my healing process. I got to smell my roses. When you think of hip hop artists that have their, street name change, in their honor, and whatever other, awards are presented after they pass, I got to smell my roses. I got all my awards. All my fans hit me up, and I think part of that is what you said earlier about Ecstasy and Marky D. I'm sure the minute my news hit the world, hit the hip hop world, everyone's like, "Hold up, we losing another? We can't afford to lose another." Everyone got in arms, and the prayers, the support. I feel loved. I appreciate my fans, and my mission now is to give back even more, believe it or not.
We love you for it, man. Thank you, Kangol, for sharing that with us, man. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna pivot into some other conversation, but Kelly, we could make that a standalone messaging. I just wanted to make a note of that.
Okay.
About the colon cancer. Fan back in the day.
Yes, sir.
Me and King Tech made a song called Copycat. I know we talked about a lot of this stuff.
Yes.
Okay. Your flowers now. I get a lot of people that come to me and God bless them. They love the Lauryn Hill Miseducation of Lauryn Hill album and say that's the first hip hop album where you heard singing, was purely singing and rapping on it. And I don't even think Lauryn would argue that of course not, but that's the most unique album you're going to get from an individual. Sure. That's one of my favorite albums of all time. But do you ever find yourself in the back of the crowd? Hey, I was singing on Beats and Rhymes back in 1985.
Yeah.
Hey, I produced Whistle. We made a whole album called Transformation. One side was rapping, the other side was singing. I
love you for knowing, bro. Yes, sir.
Yes. So what is that like for you as a pioneer, really like raising your hand to set the record straight? What has that been like?
It's frustrating, you know what I mean? But I could allow myself to be bitter about it. And I choose not to. There's a lot of cats in hip hop who have been bitter, rightfully so. Love Bug Starsky was one. I couldn't be mad at him. Kool Herc has his reasons. You know what I mean? Where, he played a role in creating this thing called hip hop, and he's not getting the recognition that he believes that he should get, and that we all believe he should get. You know what I mean? So there are times where I can be bitter about this, but I just learned to accept it in what my purpose was or is. For those that believe in a higher power, I was put here to plant this seed to make Jay-Z become the billionaire that he is. It wasn't my job to be the billionaire.
You taking credit for that, Billy?
I'm taking credit for every hip hop cat who's succeeded the way they have, who's singing or adding vocal abilities to their rap songs, who's doing anything creative. Yeah, I'll take credit. Dancing while you're rapping, yeah, I'm gonna take credit for that too. I was doing all that before these cats are doing it today. Doc and I were the first dancers ever for a rap group.
Yeah.
And after us, every rap group had to have at least 2 dancers. I'm gonna take credit for that. Yes.
Doc Ice, you guys dance for Houdini. So when you hear artists like Drake, you know what I mean, who's going to become the biggest, most streaming artist there is. You hear, artists like a Post Malone. You hear all these different guys.
I'm a fan. If I ever heard them say that they're the first to do it, then we're gonna have a discussion. You know what I mean? But if we're not having that discussion, if they're doing their thing and it works for them, God bless them. You know what I mean? But if anyone wants to discuss who did it first, and I'm not part of that conversation, we're gonna have a conversation.
As a group, you had groups like Sequence, Us Girls Get Funky Too.
Right.
I'm just guessing on the words, but you know what I'm saying. Curtis Blow. If I ruled the world.
Right, daydreaming. No doubt. You know what I mean? But I don't know if any one of them would consider themselves a vocalist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I did this as a vocalist, and I've been writing songs and singing before I got to hip hop. Whistle, you can absolutely say that they are vocalists. They weren't just, doing a melodic structure on a song. You know what I mean? It was an actual song, an actual ballad, and so on. So again, yes, I'm going to take credit for what I did. And I'm not discrediting anyone who did their thing, because, when you think of Crash Crew, so you're walking down the street with your box in your hand. I'm not taking that away from Dude. You know what I mean? But is Dude considering himself a vocalist? I don't know. You know what I mean? But he did add his melodic structure in hip hop. You know what I mean? But I was absolutely one of the first to have a charted ballad. Our song was performed on Soul Train. Fairy Tale Lover was on Soul Train.
Fairy Tale Lover.
You know what I mean? Charted on Billboard.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So when I say I did a song where I was recognized as a vocalist, I wasn't just humming or doing whatever on a song. I did a song.
You did a song.
I did a song, bro.
You did a song. What year was that Fairy Tale Lover charted? Was that 86?
That was 80.
85?
Late 85, 86, because Leader of the Pack came out in 85, August of 85. So the next single was Bite It. We performed Bite It and Fairy Tale Lover on Soul Train. So yeah, the end of 85, early 86 was Fairy Tale Lover.
Kangol was here, UTFO, Doc Ice, Rich. First hip hop dancers with one of my favorite groups of all time, Houdini. Man, can you recall, like, what I liked about y'all is your steps were like edgy and hip. Like Doc Ice was nice. He had a floor game. He's a true B-boy, footwork. He'll go into some flares, hit you with a freeze. Doc Ice was that shit. You know what I mean? Yeah,
And then I was the popper.
You was the popper.
Right.
I
was that dude.
Hey, man, the first show y'all ever did with Houdini, tell me about it.
Man, first show was
the biggest show. Tell me the biggest show.
No, let's address the biggest show.
Yeah.
Fresh Fest, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we were doing shows with them before that. We were doing went to Europe and did shows with them there. But the type of energy, the crowd, a sold out arena for a 17-year-old kid, 16, 17. Nah, that was the biggest, man. That's when you knew you made it, where you could just grab a mic and put it out in the audience and the crowd sings your song. You know what I mean? So it was that type of energy where everyone, when they say, stuff like, the fans are throwing panties at you. Yeah, that's what was happening. You know what I mean? I was introduced to so many brand new things, like, being in Europe with Houdini, and a young lady wants an autograph and she gives, remember a Sharpie. And okay, where do you want us to write it at? Oh, right here. And she whips it out. And bro, that was for a 16, 17-year-old kid. Like, wow, I think I made it. Like, I'm here.
Yo, the ex and Jalil try to calm y'all down. Like, what do you remember about, like, what kind of things would they say to y'all? Can you recall a time?
Yeah, well, let me say this. X was the individual that I looked up to in terms of being that heartthrob. You know what I mean? Nobody can pull off those leather shorts, man. You know what I mean? My man had on his leather
jacket with no shirt on too. No shirt on. No
shirt on, and leather shorts. And the girls are screaming, and that hat. Everyone thought that he was Houdini. They didn't know that was the name of the group. They just looked at him with that hat and thought he was Houdini. And, I was always wearing my hat as well. So I'm looking at this dude in hip hop having all these women scream for him as he's wearing his hat. And I'm like, I want to be that dude. I want to have my hat on and make the ladies scream for me. And years later, I became him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's so much that they taught us, man. Us being those young kids on the road with them, and then later having our success. Of course, Full Force managed and produced us, and they later became celebrities themselves. But what was so funny is while we were on the road with Full Force, we're teaching them the ropes. Like, nah, that's not the way you guys do it, man. Here's how it's done. You know what I mean? And we're showing them how to deal with the fans and how to deal with backstage. And here's what you do, the hotel lobby. Here's how it goes down, bro. You know what I mean?
Yo, Full Force, by the way, man, to me, some of the most underrecognized, amazing producers, songwriters the game has ever seen. They're like our Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, if you will. Yeah.
They are that. You know what I mean? They've NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, started with UTFO, started with Lisa and Cole Jam, on the James Brown, Patti LaBelle. Yo, their list is long, bro.
Yeah, and it keeps going. And no knock on Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis is ours too. It's all the same thing.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But I feel like they starting to get more recognized as they should. Let me ask you this question, man. On the UTFO album, y'all had a song called Lisa Lips.
Right.
And you just mentioned Lisa and the Cult Jam.
No comparison.
Okay, no correlation.
Don't even do that. That's my baby sister. That's love. Don't do that.
I didn't know, man. I always thought it was Lisa, because everybody was in the family. Full Force was producing. I know you guys was writing this stuff for. Okay, so that was is Barbara's Bedroom the sequel to Lisa?
No, Barbara's Bedroom. That was just me on my female name using into a song business. And yeah, so Barbara's Bedroom was that other hit for Whistle. That
Yeah. Okay, no Lisa Lips. Okay. All right. Hey, when
I love you, Sway. You know your hip hop history, bro. I love that about you.
Nah, man.
I'll do interviews where I gotta educate the cat. You know what I mean? You reminded me of stuff. I'm like, oh, word, right? I forgot about that. I love that, man. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. I just remember, like, it was certain when the way you and Doc Ice used to dance behind Houdini, that was my flavor. You know what I mean? The way y'all moved, the way y'all rocked.
Sure.
Y'all, even the way y'all wrote songs was different. Y'all played with patterns differently. You guys, and rap was relatively new to a lot of people. So
therefore, everything we did at that time became the first time it was ever done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we performed at the Apollo, opening up for Hall & Oates. And that was just a show that this is when Apollo was closed and they were reopening it. And so we were the opening act and we did the show. Years later, we find out that no other rap group had performed at the Apollo before us. So cats are going, you're the first rap group to perform at the Apollo Theater, right? Word? You know what I mean? So it's all these things that we did back then that we didn't see it as being the first because, we didn't know hip hop was going to become what it is today. So we didn't even look at it as something that needed to be documented. You know what I mean? But because we did everything that we did so early, all of the creative things that we came up with for the first time became the first time it was ever done in hip hop. And there's a list of stuff that we did being the first. One of the crazy things is the Lethal album. Right? Lethal album went up to number 2 on the charts with a bullet, which means next week is going to be number 1. Michael Jackson comes on the charts at number 1 while we're number 2 with a bullet. All right?
Yeah.
There was no rap charts at the time. We were absolutely the biggest rap album in the country, but there was no rap chart for us to live on and do what we did. So we had to share a chart with Michael Jackson and Stevie Wonder and OJ's, and all these other acts that was so unfair. So I don't know if we were the first number 1 rap album. I don't know, but
we could research that.
They had to create a rap chart after that. So
you guys, that album is the reason that rap charts started getting created, as far as you know.
Say yes. Yeah. It was number 2 with a bullet, bro. There's no other rap album doing that. And mind you, it wasn't even called, it was called the Black Charts. It wasn't even the R&B charts. It was called the Black Charts on Billboard. So any Black song shared one chart.
You're right.
That's crazy.
So after that success, they were like, okay, we got to create, a rap album chart. And that happened, but we missed that boat. So we never got that number 1 spot.
Michael Jackson, dog. It wasn't gonna happen.
Nah, but he ain't a rapper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He wasn't a rapper. Right. That's where it was wrong.
But it was a lot of like wrong happening back then. Sure. Rappers weren't getting proper time at the Grammys. Radio stations wouldn't play rap songs. They wouldn't play R&B songs that had rap verses in it. They would take that.
Right.
You had to make 2 versions.
The bridge or whatever. You're right.
You had to do that.
It was Melly Mel and Shaka Khan. When he would do his, Shaka Khan. Let me that whole thing.
Yeah.
They edited that verse out on certain radio stations.
Yeah.
So,
That Melly Mel verse wouldn't play.
That's correct.
You hear Shaka Khan.
Right. You just hear him in the beginning, but that rap that he does in the middle, edit.
Yeah, things have changed. A lot of it has to do with your success, though. People's success, like yours, and even when it comes to like endorsement deals, the Kangol hat, we were always like, what, does he got to deal with? Is he Kangol the company?
Right.
We
There
thought
was a lot of that. There was a whole lot of that, no doubt. And that again being the first, I was the first product endorsed hip hop artist ever. Before Run DMC and Adidas, I had my deal with Kangol Headwear, which started off as a cease and desist letter. All right. They were not happy with me referring to myself as Kangol Kid. You know what I mean? So they sent the letter to the label and asked us to stop using the name, but then they realized that every city I performed in, their sales went up. And so they fell back on the lawsuit and did a deal that allowed me to use the name, and they provided me with all the hats that I needed. It was never a monetary deal, but it's still absolutely the first deal ever between a major company and a rap artist.
It might be the first screwed up deal ever, too. Between
How about
the
that?
first shitty deal. You were the first, Kangol.
Yeah, man. Somebody had to do it first. But I am happy to say that deal led to my hat now being in the Smithsonian Museum.
It is in the Smithsonian. Talk about that, man. Like that particular deal, it's etched in time. Your legacy is built.
Yeah, I mean that's the epitome of immortalization.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't do anything else right now that's going to be more immortalized than that. My little girl I just spoke about, who's 5 years old, will be there with her great friend. I mean, I don't even know if they'll still be playing Roxanne by that time. They might stop playing, but that hat will still be
at the Smithsonian. Congratulations.
I mean, that's thank you, man. That's the epitome of immortalization.
Let me ask you this, man. And this is just a fan in me. This is just a fan of me. I would imagine when you're facing mortality, like we don't realize it, but we face mortality every day. Nobody knows when their time is coming.
Right.
But when you know you got ailments and things that could lead to it faster, it makes you think about a lot of things. One of my distant thoughts was, I hope that him and Doc Ice I hope they're at peace with each other, considering all that's going on, especially during this time.
Well, let me say this. Before I went in for my operation, my publicist, Lynn Waddell, set up a video where he reached out to a lot of celebrities and had them wish me well prior to going in. Surprisingly, Doc and Mixmaster both appeared in the video and sent me their wishes and so on. I haven't spoken to them after that, which, I definitely will place a call to them. But I will say that after we lost E, educated rapper, my wish was that we would have all bonded then. We lost a member, let's continue the legacy, let's do our thing. And that didn't happen. You know what I mean? And so, the fact that we were all at the service, I thought it would have happened then. So here we are again right now. They came together and did this video. I'm hoping that the result isn't what happened after E, where we did absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to put it out there. I hope we can make a difference this time around and acknowledge that life is short, that, whatever pride, whatever BS we're on, let's stop it. We're not 17, 18-year-old kids that we were. We're grandparents today.
Mm-hmm.
Like stop looking at this grandfather and seeing this 17-year-old dude. I'm not him anymore. And you're not him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So let's behave like the elders that we are. And I hope that this scare, nudges us in where we need to be. So I support what you're saying, and I hope it comes through.
I hope it comes too. I mean, it might just to take a picture, Mixmaster Ice, Doc Ice, Kangol Kid, just, show us something, man. Do it for the fans. if for no other reason, but y'all also leaving a couple bags on the table too, because I know it's a lot of folks that would love to see UTFO perform.
Bro.
And whatever the thing was between y'all, it's none of our business. You know what I mean? We've spoken about it. I'm sure they've said things here and there. Listen, we in the now. Hopefully that men could just kind of repent with each other and move forward.
You just said what I said. You know what I mean? I'm with you, bro.
Yeah, hopefully, I know it's easy for me to say it though. I really don't know the inside. They might be like Sway, but
look, like I said, they appeared on the video. It was touching, and I hope we continue on that path. Let's see what happens. But I do owe them a call, so I will, reach out and say thank you for that.
Okay, cool.
So on. Let's see what happens thereafter.
It's been said, if you believe in fairy tales.
Aha, we going there.
Be my fairy tale lover.
Let's go there.
Hey.
So let me. We didn't have this talk yet. So did you and I talk about the show and what's getting ready to happen with Fairy Tale Lover, the new show called Fairy Tale Lover? Did we have that talk yet?
We ain't had that talk. We have not had this talk about Fairy Tale Lover. What is this show all about?
All right. So new show. We are about to film. We're going to start shooting in the summer. Show is called Fairy Tale Lover. The definition of Fairy Tale Lover has changed. What it is now is, I'm sure there's someone you've watched on television growing up saying, man, I would love to meet her. I would love to have a moment with her. Well, Fairy Tale Lover will become that show where fans that are, that have, I guess, focused on a particular heartthrob will have the opportunity to compete for that moment. What will that moment be? That will be the moment that we all have, as we do what we do, walking that red carpet, rubbing elbows with our celebrity friends, wearing outfits sponsored by that designer, paparazzi taking pictures. I will be the Fairy Tale Lover for season 1, and there will be X amount of women competing for that opportunity to win that prize and have that moment. And after season 1, I will be the host of Fairy Tale Lover, and every season it'll be a different Fairy Tale Lover. Be Ralph Tresvant, I'll be sure, Christopher Williams. Why Just Dudes? It could be Cindy from In Vogue, CeCe Peniston, Lisa.
Halle Berry?
Why not?
Okay.
It doesn't matter who.
Come on, man. Halle Berry's not a singer.
Oh, okay.
Any television, it could be the local weather girl. If she's the one that everyone is saying, I would love to meet her, then she's those individuals' Fairy Tale Lover. So our purpose, our mission here is to make a fan's fairy tale come true and have them have that moment with their Fairy Tale Lover. And we start shooting in the summer, and I'm the guinea pig. I'll be your first Fairy Tale Lover. I can't wait. Again, as sharing what I just went through and how my fans filled me up, bro. I look forward to filling them up and giving them that moment that they've dreamt of, because they've been our fans. They've been there for us for decades. And what a great way to say thank you, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I can't wait to watch it. Rich Nice is single too. If you need a stand-in for a Fairy Tale Lover.
All right. Let me say this. It doesn't have to be a single individual. You know what I mean? Because again, it's all about making that it's not a love connection type of show. So in other words, let's say Big Daddy Kane, who is spoken for, was chosen to be Fairy Tale Lover. His job is to be there and have that fan have that moment where she can walk the red carpet with him and just to make that dream come true. It's not a sexual thing. It's not a love connection thing. Mind you, if it is a single individual or whatever, and
it goes down,
flies, we let the cameras roll.
It could go down. Okay.
If it goes down, it goes down.
Hey,
but
man.
This is for the fans.
You see how I get pimped out, Kangol? I'm about to be on the show, going on dates. I'm about to be, man.
Hey, man.
Let's do it, man. Why not?
Hey, you gonna have some real OG groupies too signing up for that, man. They might be a little tricky. They might trick you out of your relationship. You don't know. They've been doing it for decades.
Look, man, it's great TV.
You might be in for more than you know, brother. I love the concept. I love the idea of reinventing that song. Fairy Tale Lover, for those who don't know, was like one of the first love ballads of hip hop. You know,
Yes,
a lot of people know I Need Love with LL Cool J, and
right, but that wasn't a singing song. It wasn't
that wasn't a singing song.
Right, he was rapping in a slower tempo. It wasn't singing. Ours was a song.
That was that song. So y'all was kind of one of the, like, y'all did so many first, and like you said, it was at a time where everything was still fresh and new. And so I'm glad that like 30 plus years later, we're able to talk about this. Come on, man, and look at us. We looking good too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Come on, man. Come on. I see what you're doing with it, baby. Come on. I love it. Hey, Rich, you want to ask Kangol something?
Yeah, you know, you talk about Fairy Tale Lover. Just for the record, I was a little mad at y'all with that because y'all had the girls, and I was just like, you making it difficult, man. Because
sorry, bro, my bad.
And you know, we have some history. I know Kangol from the Disco Fever. We participated in a competition years ago when we were kids. Prince Marky D and the Fat Boys, which were called the Disco 3 at the time, they were in the competition. Did you know that the Bad Boys were in that competition as well?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the they were in that competition as well.
At Disco Fever?
Yes, sir. They went on early though. They went on early and they didn't stay till the end.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So recently, Kangol sent me a video that I got to watch, and I'm still watching. And it was very interesting because I noticed the people who came out of that was successful were people who all kind of interacted with each other that day. Prince Marky D had told me, yo, good luck. And, you know, I told you guys that, yo, that routine where you passed the mic was dope, but you chose a dangerous time to do it in this competition.
Yes, sir.
What was your interaction like with Prince Marky D at the time? Because I know after you guys created a long-term friendship. So what was it like that in that competition that day? I'm talking about 1983 in the Disco Fever.
That was the seed planted for both Fat Boys and UTFO. That day is where both our careers sparked. Coincidentally, both groups were from Brooklyn. And we went to the Bronx to be part of this competition because it was a competition in which groups from various boroughs were going to perform and compete and represent their borough. We missed the Brooklyn competition. So we went to the Bronx to get into this competition, and both Brooklyn acts went to the Bronx and won in the Bronx. So we went to Radio City Music Hall to represent Bronx, but we're from Brooklyn, all right? And both those Brooklyn acts won at Radio City Music Hall. Fat Boys won as the rap group, and Doc and I won as the dancers. And Houdini was in the audience and saw me and Doc win that contest and approached our manager and said, "You need those kids to dance for us." So that's how our career took off. And Fat Boys won their recording deal from that contest. So in terms of, what was the conversation like between Mark and I? Mark and I were basically born in the music industry that same day. You know what I mean? So our relationship has always been, crazy because we both watched it happen for each other at the same time. And we later joined them as a rap group because we were dancing for Houdini while they were doing their things as Fat Boys. And then later we got our recording deal, and now we're UTFO, the rap group, with Fat Boys, the rap group. You know what I mean? So, it was always love between Mark and I. And I can't believe he's gone, bro.
Yeah.
I can't believe X is gone. I mean, these ain't cats that I used to listen to their songs and admired them from backstage or whatever. These are cats that I broke bread with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
let's talk about the early UTFO, because that day in the Disco Fever wasn't the same lineup that the world was introduced to. I was introduced to a different UTFO.
Yes,
talk about that.
At that moment, at that contest, of course, myself, Doc, and KD, Cool Doobie, who later became a member of Whistle. So KD was in UTFO. We were called UFO at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It was still the same name, Untouchable Force Organization. The reason why we added the T is that the group in Europe called UFO. And so we had to stick the T in there, which I hated. I'm like, look, un is not a word. So why are we saying untouchable? I was outvoted So yeah, so UTFO it is. But yeah, Cool Doobie AD was in UTFO at that time.
What
and funny
happened?
enough, well, he got a football scholarship and decided to go, pursue his education instead of being with the group. And we supported his decision, man. Ours was, we were gambling doing this rap thing, but he had a bona fide, sure football scholarship to college. Like, bro, go to college.
Let's talk about that for a second, because today I don't think people really understand how much of a chance people were taking to drop their life, so to speak, and pursue being a rapper, because rap wasn't popular in record companies. It wasn't the way of the music of the world. It wasn't even on radio. So talk about that chance and that criticism, that early criticism.
Well, that criticism started with my parents, because my family's from Haiti. They came to America to give their children a better way of living. So better way of living to them is becoming a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, something, substantial, something that they can brag to their friends about, my son's a doctor, that whole thing. So that chance wasn't just what we're talking about in terms of us taking a chance in the music industry. That chance was me, going against the grain with my family, where I'm saying I'm not gonna do any of that professional thing you want me to do. I got this chance, this opportunity to do this thing that's never really been done, and I want to entertain that thing. So big risk was taken, on my part. My mom supported it for certain, in the beginning, because she watched me enjoy music, so she knew that that was my thing. My dad was pissed, and having my mom supported my dad. Words on this. I'm washing my hands of this. Do your thing. And story with my dad. My dad was a cab driver, and again, he wasn't a fan of this. Roxanne comes out. It's blowing up, and he's still not a fan. So one day he comes home and he says to me, "You won't believe what happened today." I was like, "What happened?" He said, "I picked up a passenger, and your song came on the radio, and the passenger's in the back seat singing the song." So I waited for the song to end, and I said, "You like that song?" He said, "Yeah, man, that's the hit." I said, "Really? That's my son." "Get out of here, man. That ain't your kid." And he said, "No, I'm serious. That's my son." He said, "Yeah, well, if that's your kid, what are you doing driving the cab?" And that's when it changed, Joe.
Wow.
Yo.
That's when it changed. And he came home and shared that story with me. And from that day, he went from being my dad to being my friend. You know what I mean? He supported it. And he realized, yo, this is something that I can brag to my friends about. My son's a hip hop star. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was a big chance that was taken. And I'm happy that it worked, the way it did for us. But that wasn't the story for everybody. I know a lot of cats was like, "Yeah, man, I had a demo tape too. I was trying to make it happen too. Everyone tried this, but not everybody made this. This was, definitely the survival of the fittest for this one."
Yeah, yeah, it's easier to get in the NBA at that time.
Real.
What was the first expensive thing you bought for your parents once they knew you were making money?
And I don't recall actually buying anything for them. What I would do is I gave them all my money.
What do you mean?
I didn't have a bank account. I didn't have anything. Every time I made dough, I just gave it to them. And they put it wherever they needed to put it for me and held it and so on. So if they skimmed off, so what? Whatever, you know what I mean? So it wasn't a situation where I kept dough and I'm buying gifts and I'm doing all this. Every dime that I got, I gave it to my mom, and she took care of it for me. So yeah, I didn't have access to it per se to go and purchase my own thing. It took a few years, and finally I said, "Ma, can I have my dough now?" And prior to that, I didn't even have to buy a car. My dad had his Cadillac Seville, and he said, "Look, why don't you just take over the payments, and I'll give you that." So I'm driving the hottest vehicle, I'm doing all this and so on, and I'm looking. Had all my dough.
Man, at your worst in terms of being a womanizer. Because, hey, Rich,
Wow.
Kangol Kid, UTFO, back then in the 80s, dancing with the outfits on, dancing for Houdini.
Ouch.
And a song called Roxanne.
Come on.
Body blow, Sway.
Okay.
Body blow.
At the peak of your womanizing days, before you became evolved, how many women do you think you was in, dealing with?
It's funny. I've had that question asked by men and women. It's like, yo, how many? And the answer is I don't know. That's the answer, because it was never anything where I kept account or did any. The craziest thing I had was my phone book. Everyone had a little black book, but in terms of the alphabets, like how you would store the names, the alphabet was used for the city. So if I go to C, it's because I'm in Columbus, Ohio, or Charleston, South Carolina. So my phone book was set up by cities. I couldn't tell you what the count was.
Okay.
It was incredible, and it was absolutely. They were generous. Let's say that it wasn't a situation where I had to do anything. It was
people were cool too.
Like, here, this is yours. I've saved this for you, and here you go. So,
did you? A lot of this generation, man. You gotta, it's a lot of folks getting robbed now because they having relations, men and women. We go to a different city. It ain't your city. You hook up with somebody. You wake up, your wallet and watch is gone. Did that ever happen to you?
No, we didn't experience that. I guess they got smarter after us. All right. But prior to that, no, there was no episodes, no situations like that. And it was such an easier time, because even in terms of STDs, it wasn't what it was. It wasn't. No one was dying from anything you caught back then. It was one of those, go to the doctor, like Kumo D would say, go to the doctor, get that shot. And so there were so many things that we didn't worry about back then. Things like even the Me Too movement and all these, harassments. And so none of those things existed back in mid 80s and into the 90s. I would say after the 90s, it started with, all those things. But
they should have.
Concerns didn't exist.
Maybe they should have been there then.
So what city would you say was the wildest after party or the wildest after set that you remember?
I would say I was most loved on the West Coast. For whatever reason, I guess, maybe it was the Jerry curls. I had my long Jerry curls back then. Maybe that's what it was. We would go to different cities, and it would always be a toss-up between me and Doc as to whose city it is. And in the beginning of the show, after we do our first introduction, the first song, we'd introduce ourselves individually. And at that moment is when you know whose city it is, depending on how loud they screamed for me or how loud they screamed for Doc. So the West Coast I always had on lock. But look, I was loved everywhere, bro. One of 1985 Heartthrob. My pictures was on every chick's wall. I mean, I've met chicks that said, "Oh my God, I can't believe it's so. I'm here with you. Your picture plastered my whole bedroom wall." I'm like, wow.
Word Up magazine, boy.
Yeah, man. Word Up, Right On, Rap Master. Yeah, there was a few of them, man.
I miss those magazines, right?
Yeah, man. Really do.
Those were cool.
Really do.
But look, man, we could go on and on, but I just want to say God is great.
Agreed.
Indeed, all the time.
We could sit here and discuss this today after what you endured with colon cancer.
Yes, sir.
You did the responsible thing. You beat it, and now you're being transparent about it. You're going to help save lives during this Kangol Kid. I appreciate you for it. Stay the course. We here for
Fairy Tale Lover TV on Instagram.
Okay.
That is where we've asked everyone to send their videos to submit to be part of this. But hit me, man. I'd love to, for those who do not follow, please begin following Yo Kangol on Instagram. YOKANGOL. Follow a brother.
All right.
I mean,
thank you, brother. Thank you, man.
Black.